Hello, folks. Welcome to the Mindset Artistry Podcast. I am your host, David DiPaolo. Thank you for joining. This is episode number 40, another great milestone. Thank you. Thank you for joining the Mindset Movement. Today's episode is what fatherhood means to me, what fathering my son means to me. Today's National Sons Day. So that's why I wanted to drop this podcast today on this day. It's a holiday that is very special to me because I'm a older father, I guess you could say, right? I'm 40. I'll be 46 very soon. My son is 4 years old, and it's the greatest thing that I'll ever do in life. Plain and simple, it's the greatest responsibility that I'll ever have in life. And I posted a photo today on my personal page. Everyone posts for National Sons Day if they have a son. And so what I've been doing is I do a photo every year of him sitting on my lap on my desk and just showing the difference, right? Like showing how big he's getting, how much he's changing, and it's how much I'm changing as well, right? Like I looked, and it was kind of funny. I made the post funny, but year one I looked like tired. I was like, you could tell I was like totally out of it in the photo, which usually, new parents are, babies aren't sleeping, things are crazy, it's wild. Year two, I was like paying for it, I guess, because I was very out of shape, in my opinion. I didn't look all that great. At year three, I looked like I was starting to figure out what was going on and what I needed to do. And in year four now, just back in action, ready to dominate life every single day and have a lot more figured out than I did before. Right. And that's a big part of fatherhood, right? It's just learning, going through it, and learning with your feet to the fire. It's a new journey every single day. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's coming out of their mouths. You never know if they're going to be sick or if they're going to be hurt, what they got going on in their little heads and brains, what's bothering them, what's not bothering them, what's fun for them, what they want to accomplish. So it's a wild ride. It really is. And as parents, myself, my wife as well, you have to just kind of grin and bear it all and take the good with the bad. But it's a great thing. It really is. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I said, fatherhood's the best thing that I'll ever do, the greatest thing that I'll ever do, my greatest responsibility that I'll ever have. And I'm fine with that. What fatherhood means to me, it's super important, right? Like I had an amazing father. He was taken too soon, unfortunately. When I was 15 years old, my father tragically passed away. But up until that point, my whole entire life, like he instilled a lot of values and great things and great lessons that I still hold today and live by. And just his reputation, how much people adored him and loved him and looked up to him and had such a great time with him all the time. Hearing those stories, knowing that about him, it means the world to me. And I say it all the time, if I could be half the father my dad was, I'll do an amazing job, right? So that is my job, right? Like that's my job, to continue my father's legacy, to be a great father to my son as well, and teach him the things that my father taught me, the things that my grandfather taught me. And that's what it's all about, right? Like legacy, your ancestors, the people who were here before you, doing it for them and teaching on, great character, great behaviors, great mindset, all of these different things. So it's very important to me. It's something I hold near and dear to my heart. And but it's a great thing. And it baffles my mind, like seeing some dudes out there, and I won't even call them men because they're not, but ones that are like deadbeats and, don't take care of sons and daughters, really, right? Like, I know that this is Son's Day and that's what I'm doing here. But, the guys that don't take care of their kids, like they make me sick to my stomach. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how someone can do it. I don't understand the selfishness that some guys have. And women, mothers and fathers that, they put themselves always first before their kids. And that's not what it's about. Like your kid comes first no matter what. Like you took on the responsibility of having a child, and that's it. Like, not saying that you can't enjoy life and do things for yourself because you need to, right? Like if you're not working on yourself, then you're useless and worthless to your kid. Like you're not going to be able to make them great if you're not working on being great yourself. But they have to come first. Like everything has to be about your children, like plain and simple. Like everything I do is for him, like, and my wife included, right? Like I say it all the time. I've said it multiple times on this podcast. Like, they are my biggest why, and everything I do is for them. It really is. So it boggles my mind that there are guys out there and women out there that have children and don't take care of them, and don't put them first, and maybe even aren't in their lives, or do things that could potentially take them out of their lives. And I don't get it. I really don't. But that it is a responsibility. It definitely is. And it's my biggest responsibility. And it's one that I welcome and enjoy, because I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, fatherhood is by far the greatest thing that has ever happened to me in my life, next to my wife. And, we have a great family. We have a great marriage. We have a great son. And it's a testament to all of it, right? Like having good family values, having our shit together, and being both good and rational and understanding people, being caring and loving people, knowing when to be stern when we need to, and teaching our son the right way. I mean, that is it. Teaching him responsibility, teaching him that he can accomplish and do anything that he wants to in life, teaching him that he needs to challenge himself. And, these are the things that keep me up at night, but I make sure that I, myself, my wife, we do a good job at this, and do a great job at this, because we have to. So, just baffles me that some people don't take care of their children. As I say, it's the biggest responsibility, but my job as a father especially, is to make sure that I am molding my son into being a good man, right? Like, I know he's 4 years old right now. He's a kid. I still talk to him and I call him young man, right? Like, he will be a man one day. And my job is to make sure that he is fully equipped to handle everything that comes his way in this world, as crazy as it is, society, everything that life is going to throw at you. My job is to make sure that I am molding him to be a good man. I am molding him to have good character. I am molding him to be a leader. I am molding him to not run away from challenges. I am molding him to do the hard things, face adversity, figure out how to get through things. And I say it all the time to him, and he repeats it back to me. Whenever something's going on and he gets upset or maybe overreacts to something, I stop him in his tracks all the time. And I say, son, there's no problems. There's just solutions. Whatever's going on right now, let's not focus on that actual problem. What is the solution? What do you need to do to fix this? What options do we have that will fix this situation right now? Let's not get upset about it. Let's not overreact about it. Let's not let it ruin our day. Let's not let it put us in a situation that we can make it worse. Let's figure out the solution. And that's what life is all about. And it's one of my biggest and most taught lessons that I have with my son constantly, that I make him focus on the solutions and not the problems. And adults need to do that as well. And you have to teach them that. You have to teach them problem-solving abilities. You have to teach them that life is not easy. Life is going to be tough. You are going to endure difficult and hard things in your life. You are going to endure challenges. And they need to know that they have to figure out how to fix that. They need to have problem-solving abilities. They need to have a good mindset going through it. They need to understand that whatever's going on, it may be hard or crappy or bad, but things can get worse. And the way to make it better is to figure out the solution. Like, I drill this in his head at 4 years old, and he already gets it. And I love when he repeats it back to me. I love when he says it to me without me even having to say it to him. When something comes up and he goes, this is the problem, I have to figure out the solution. Like, I love it. So, my job, number one job, is to mold him into being a great man, to being a great future man, having great character, being a leader, being a winner, being competitive, fighting for himself, doing, good things for people, being a good person, having manners, being courteous, having responsibility, having accountability, having discipline. Like, these things I drive into his head, and he already does it. And I love it. Like, he's already into doing sports. He does martial arts. He's always wanting to challenge himself and do different things, play games. And that's my greatest job and responsibility, to do this and drill this stuff. And how you do that, and one of the main ways that you can do that, by leading by example, right? And I say this all the time as well, aside from my job into my responsibility of what I just mentioned and molding him and making him better, he makes me better. He makes me better every single day because I know that two things. One, I have to lead by example. If I'm not doing it myself, he's not going to do it, right? Like if I'm telling him, you have to eat healthy, you have to be disciplined, you have to hold yourself accountable, you have to get your work done, you have to work hard, you have to do these challenging things, right? You have to fight through stuff, fight through adversity. You could do anything you want. You could do anything you want to accomplish in life. If I'm telling him all of these things, but I don't do that myself, well then why would he listen to me? Why would anyone listen to you, right? And that's something that I look at just as a whole in life, right? Like I'm a business owner, I own businesses, I have staff, I have employees, and you have to lead by example always. Like you can't tell them to do something and you're not willing to do it yourself. You can't teach them how to do something and then you do it completely different. You can't tell them that these are our standards and what we need to abide by and then you go off of that and do something different. I can't, ask them to work hard and then they see me, screwing around and not working hard, right? So it's the same idea of like with my son, like he has to see all of those things as well. And it keeps me accountable. It really does. So I know that I have to do all these things right, or he's not going to listen to me when I'm telling him to do these things right. And there's a second part of that. And this is one that it can cut you deep. And one that a lot of people figure out maybe a little too late in life is if I'm telling him to do all these things and I'm conditioning him to do all these things and molding him and with all these great attributes and characteristics, and I'm telling him how to do it and why he needs to do it and all these other things. But eventually he realizes that I'm not doing them myself, right? He's going to look at me like I'm a fraud, I'm a liar. And on top of it, then why would he believe in himself when I'm telling him that he can do all these great things and this is the way to do it and this is the blueprint when I'm not doing it myself? And then he's going to look at me like a fraud and a liar and say, well, you lied to me all this time. I can't do any of those things because you're not doing it yourself. I think of that scenario and it makes me sick to my stomach. I think of that scenario and it keeps me up at night. So that's what keeps me accountable and that's what keeps me disciplined in everything that I do. Because I know that one day I don't want my son to look at me like I'm a fraud and I'm a liar and that I sold him wolf tickets, led him down a path that he cannot succeed in. He needs to see that I am willing to do it as well. And that keeps me accountable. It keeps me accountable in my health. It keeps me accountable in my ambitions. It keeps me accountable to make sure I have good character. It keeps me accountable to make sure that I provide security and comfort to my son and my wife, this life that we're building together. It keeps me accountable to make sure that my finances are in order. It keeps me accountable to make sure that I'm constantly improving, making myself better, continually educating myself, fixing my mistakes, righting my wrongs, admitting when I do something wrong. Like this stuff is what I go through daily. I'm constantly making sure that I am accountable on these things and many others as well, so that I can sit there confidently and teach my son these same things, these same behaviors, these same good habits, these same consistencies. And then he knows that I am telling him from a place of experience, and he knows that I am telling him from a place of this is how you do it because this is how dad does it, and this is how other great people do it that have success in life. And this is what we need to do. And now let's get after it, right? So look, you have to lead by example. You have to do things the right way yourself. Look, I don't have it all figured out, right? Like when I'm saying these things to you, I'm saying them because I know they work for me and I know they work for my son. Okay, do I have all the answers? Am I the most experienced father? Can I be wrong at times? Yeah, all of those things are very, very true. But two things can be true at the same time. I know the way that I'm teaching my son, the responsibilities that I teach him, the discipline, the accountability, to have great character, the way that he has to have a great mindset and how that he can get through his problems by finding solutions. I know that's the right way because I see it working. I see how great he is. I see, and this isn't just a father saying, oh, my son's so great. Look, I see it. I see it around when he's around other kids. I see it when he's around some of these sports things that I take him to. I see it when I take him to his martial arts class. Like, He listens. He's dialed in. I see that he's getting better. I see that he challenges himself. I see that he pushes himself. I see that he wants to go do these things. I'm not forcing him to do these things. I see that he does try to find the solutions and not the problems. I see that he does have responsibility. I see even with finances, he's already understanding finances, basic finances, because I give him a pay for his chores that he does. He saves his own money, and then he goes out and buys toys that he wants. Like, he's already understanding finances. The money that I give him, this is kind of funny, I give him a certain amount of money, and I take some back for taxes. I'm already teaching my son taxes, right, and expenses. So I see this stuff working already for him. Look, you could do it or not do it. You can listen to me. You can call me crazy. You could tell me whatever you want to, and that's fine. And if you have some pointers for me, some things that I could be doing better, throw it in the comments. I'd be happy to hear it. But I know this stuff is working. It's working for my son, and it's working for me, for us both to get better. Okay. And like I said, this is the greatest and biggest responsibility that I will ever have in my life, is to be a father, to be a good father, to be a great father, and teach him the right way. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I thank my wife for being as great as she is, for being as supportive as she is. You know, we have a great marriage. We work together. We communicate well. And we have a vision of what we want for our lives, what we want for our son. And we make sure that we do everything we have to do to give him that. We make the sacrifices that we have to do. We work our asses off. We lead by example. We keep ourselves accountable with all these different things that I mentioned to you. So look, it's National Sons Day. I wanted to do this podcast on this day for that reason. I love my son dearly. He's the greatest thing. And I am going to keep teaching him how to be successful in life. Stay tuned. I promise you, he will accomplish great things in life. And I can't wait to see it. I really can't. But that's it. It's National Sons Day. Enjoy it. Always constantly figure out what you need to do to be better for your son. If you have a daughter, whatever it is, children, as a father, as a mother, it's our greatest responsibility. You need to figure out how to always do it better and hold yourself accountable. Lead by example. That's it, everyone. I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining.